What you are about to hear is highly classified. Pay attention and listen at all times. And most importantly, remember, if you walk the plank on dry land, you'll just end up with sand in your pants. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now entering Zone 4. And welcome back to the Zone. I'm Brant.
And on Sea of Thieves, they call me Captain Twinkles, but on this show, I go by Chris.
And I have to follow that up with I'm Jay.
Hey,
And my name is Gordon, and I'm thinking being on this podcast is career suicide.
Or may lead to actual suicide.
Hey, in my case,
it took you this long to figure that out, Gordon.
Working with Chris can push you a person.
I just owned it, you know. Oh man, this you guys, if you're not listening to the Patreon version of this with the unedited 20-minute pre-show, you're missing out. I'm just saying, just tossing that out there.
You missed out on some prime gossip.
Yeah,
very prime.
There's some stuff there.
There's
some real stuff. There's some fake stuff.
There was puff. We had some puff talk going on there. Yeah, there was a lot of puff.
Yeah, we did a lot of Fortniting.
Mm-hmm.
There was that too.
Yep.
All kinds
So
of
if
stuff.
any of the ladies out there want to do some Fortniting, and
Gordon will help build a
whatever
fort for
that
you.
is, I have no idea. Sorry.
I can see people going out this way. Hey, on a Fortnite.
This is the Zone 4 challenge of the month. Go out, find somebody random on the street, go up to them, and no. Go. Do you Fortnite? I do.
Yeah, that's a great way to get your face punched.
Don't ask the opposite sex. Ask the same sex so you don't get punched in the
I
face.
thought you were a better way to get your face punched.
Yeah.
Say, Brant, are we a proud member of the Comics Podcast Network?
No.
I don't know. We might have to beg for that privilege again. But yes, no, we are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. You can find us on comicspodcasts.com each and every episode, along with a plethora of other shows, including other Zone 4 shows like Airship 27. That's the only other one that's going on right now. But there's some others there, I think. Maybe.
Possibly.
As soon as certain things get unburied, it's going to start
Exactly. Go search for it, though. It's a great site. You can find some cool podcasts to listen to over there. But listen to ours first.
Yes.
All right. So.
It's hard to follow up that pre-show.
I know.
Real hard.
I will say this. Stay tuned for the end of the show because we are actually going to announce something coming up in a couple of months. Some exciting stuff. So. Yeah, stay tuned for that. And this is going to be a different kind of episode for us. When we get into it, we're doing an Ask Me Anything episode. Now, we asked people. We only got a few questions, but we're going to wing it. We got enough to go on. We're going to make this a show. But if you guys end up liking this concept, we'll do this every so often. And we'll
in Brant's defense, he only asked like 2 days ago.
Yeah,
if he would have asked a week ago, we might have had more.
Well, yeah. Up until a few days ago, I didn't remember we had to do this show.
I tried to help you out, and you just buried yourself again. Screw it, I'm done.
Hey, yeah. I'm honest. I'm an open book.
Frank has a lot on his plate right now, so
yeah. I'm running a Kickstarter. I'm running a company.
Yeah, he's got to put up with Captain Twinkles.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
Captain
putting
Twinkles.
up with Captain Twinkles is an honor and a privilege.
I've been streaming a lot with Captain Twinkles and different things. Been getting killed a lot in Fortnite and various other things.
Listen, it's no, you can't play. And I've been boogie bombing you. We are popular on the Dysfunctional Gaming Discord for the boogie bomb.
You being dysfunctional, popular, or anything that's dysfunctional does not surprise me at all.
That's a good point.
You're the most dysfunctional person I know, Chris.
And I am dysfunctional yet still functional.
You're functionally dysfunctional.
Exactly. So half the people hate the fact that I'm still functioning, and the other half are trying to figure out how I'm functioning.
I've been trying. I've been trying to figure that out since we met, but
not since we met. The day after.
No.
He just didn't tell you right away.
This is the first time I watched a video of yours.
Yeah, that's true. Brooklyn Boys, I have a running resume. That's true.
I know the first. All right, we want to put it all out there. The first time I ever saw one of your videos, Lisa kept trying to get me to watch her videos, right? And this was years ago, right? So she keeps trying to get me watching. I finally like, all right, I'll watch one, and I watch it, and I'm like, how are you watching this guy? what the heck?
Wow, Brett was a jerk way back then too. I see. Okay.
No, it's just it was some random review episode of yours, and I don't know what it was about it, but it was just, I think you were being mean to Amber actually on the episode, and I was just like, who is this jerk?
In my defense, now I'm gonna put this out there.
A lot of stuff.
I know, but now I've got to do it. Now I've got to do it because now you did that. Now, in my defense, at that time, we were in
stuff is coming out this episode.
We were in a very bad place, and while it may have looked like I was the jerk on screen, off screen, it was pretty equal.
All right, let me cut you off and just say there was history that I wasn't privy to. We'll just put it like that.
Right. And then when you were privy, you understood, and then
of course. But anyway, the point is, once I finally actually dug into an episode while you were live, and you and I started conversing, we hit it off and we became friends. So, and here we are. Now you're on my podcast, and I'm wondering why I ever watched it. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I often wonder why I'm still on this podcast. I have to admit.
Hey,
I should have
Gordon,
said no.
You auditioned to be on this podcast, so you have no excuse. You have no one to blame for yourself. That's all I'm saying.
In Gordon's defense, it was pre-Chris.
That is true.
No.
Yeah, it was.
I know it was pre-Chris, but at the same time, he knew what he was getting himself into.
Yeah, sadly I did.
And you're still here.
And let me point out that Gordon was on several of Frontline Live back when we were on Dark Avenger Inc. So he put himself out there.
So he was on zero Frontline Live, but he was on Dark Avenger Inc. Live.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna have to get
I think Chris's point is I at least appeared on his show.
Yes.
It appeared in video.
You knew of him.
Yes.
That's true. Yeah. You had warning.
Yeah, and you still came on, so.
Okay, Captain Twinkles, let's storm forward.
Hard port!
Can't you tell we're all good friends here? We love each other. We really do.
Yeah, we do. We love Captain
Twinkles. You only roast the ones you
love.
love.
Captain Twinkles, the punching bag.
Any minute now, Gordon's gonna be like, I forgot about this prior engagement I had. I gotta go.
I gotta go. There's a shark knocking at the door.
Yeah, exactly. Callbacks. All right, so moving on. It's topic time.
Topic time. It's topic time.
You mean we weren't already in topics?
Topic time is to ask me anything. We haven't asked any questions. How can we be in topic time?
Yeah,
yes, you did.
Chris,
you questioned my sanity.
Chris, we usually leave a little space so that Brant later can insert a little sound wave that goes topic time. It's topic time.
See?
You completely ruined Brant's flow, Chris. I'm sorry. I have to stand up for him, man. You threw off his rhythm.
Then
true.
let me say to future
you do that
Brant.
often, though.
Let me say to future Brant.
Wait, just wait.
I'm waiting.
Is friendly fire on in the other games that we play?
No.
Darn. We gotta find a game with friendly
Throw
fire.
him in the ocean with the sharks. Make them walk the plank.
Unfortunately, Brant will not buy an Xbox.
I didn't say I wouldn't. I can't.
He would do it just to
Mr.
make him walk the plank.
Actually, Mr. Fowler, I'm lying. Sea of Thieves is both PC and Xbox One. You totally can play. It is a Steam game. It is available for Windows. You can play.
You have it on Xbox. I couldn't play it with you.
Yes, it is. It's cross-platform. The people I played with were on PC. You just need the Xbox app.
Okay. Well, it's not out for a month, so ask me again.
Oh, you know I will now. I just remembered it's PC related, and you have a good PC.
He also forgets it's first person, and I don't like first person. He just keeps trying and trying. But anyway,
it is not an FPS. It is a FPS RPG.
I didn't say it was an FPS. I said it was first person.
Yes, but it's an RPG as well.
Yeah, and
not persistent.
Yeah, and let me just say, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, yes, we really are this organized. You didn't step in the middle of one. This isn't like one of those like off the usual topic. This is who we are. Deal.
That's right. That is the I don't know, the insanity that is Zone 4. We go all over the place. But we find our way back, like we are right now, into the Ask Me Anything section. We do have some questions from some of our listeners, so we are going to dive in, and we also have some questions from each other. So let's see. We will start, as we're already talking about video games, we'll just get this one out there and out of the way. Matt Mills asks, what are our favorite NES, that's the original Nintendo game, games you own or ever played, and your favorite pinball machine? So, Jay.
Oh, yeah. My favorite NES games, I guess it would be the Mario games, because that's the ones I played the most. Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3. And pinball game, I don't know the name of it, but there was a space pinball game that was at this throwback type diner that I went on my first date in, and I always liked playing the video game, the pinball game there. So
cool. All right, Gordon.
Well, I never owned an NES, but my favorite old school 8-bit video game was Galaga. Because you had the spaceship. It was a shooter, but you could get your ship captured, and if you shot the alien the right way, you got a double ship and could kill more aliens. And favorite pinball machine was the Twilight Zone pinball machine, because I figured out a way I could get like a free play by just pressing the start button repeatedly when it ended.
Nice.
So like I might spend like $1 but get like $5 worth of games. Yeah, that's called working the system.
Well, Gordon, I'm going to counter your pinball with my Simpsons pinball machine, which I actually did the exact same thing and got like 5-6 games out of one.
Nice. And your NES?
The Mario series. I'm sorry. That was my favorite. I also own the Legends of Zelda, the first 2 games with the golden cartridges.
Mm-hmm.
The first Legends of Zelda was a lot of fun. I've never really got into the second one as much, but yeah. Zelda was a fun game.
All right, so me, pinball, I don't remember which one it was, but my first job was I worked at Chuck E. Cheese, and one of the jobs I had, I floated between departments, and one of them was fixing the machines in the game room. And there was one pinball machine that it was kind of broken, no matter how many coins you put in it. So each one of us, whoever was working the room, would pretend like we were fixing it, and we would just sit there and play pinball for like an hour, so over and over again. So that was my favorite because I could play it forever and get paid for it.
So the manager of that Chuck E. Cheese, if you're listening to this podcast,
he had no idea who Brain is right now.
Yeah, Brett was working.
He hated me because his daughter had a crush on me.
Ooh,
he hated me so much.
You totally should have dated his daughter then.
Then he definitely remembers you.
Let me just say that if he was managing a Chuck E. Cheese,
yeah.
Grant was probably not the number one problem on his mind.
That's right.
Like, what's with that freaky robot bear?
Full disclosure, there was a time I was in his office for some reason. I forget what I was in there for, but his boss came in, and I just happened to be in there, and his boss turns to me and says, "Do you want to be in his position someday?" And I looked over at him, and I looked back at the guy, and I said, "No." And I walked out of the room.
I want to have a better job.
He really hated me after that.
I don't want to deal with freaky robot bears.
Exactly.
I don't want to be that manager in the Chuck E. Cheese mouse outfit. No.
I was working at Kmart, and I was the manager of the pantry department, and they asked me, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" I said, "Not here."
Yeah, exactly.
I was young. What am I going to say? I see myself here forever? No.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was 16. What am I going to say? But yeah, no, it's funny. As far as NES, of course Mario. That goes without being said, I think. But Metal Gear, the first Metal Gear game, I absolutely love that game on the NES. So, all right, let's see. Next question. We'll jump to one of Tevia's because there's so many. I'm not going to do all his at once. All right.
Captain Twinkles needs a drink of his rum.
So Tevia Smolka asks, with Brian Michael Bendis taking over both Superman and Action Comics, and with the new information on Peter J. Tomasi and Dan Jurgens' last stories on both titles, I am just wondering, what are your guys' expectations for both specials coming out this year? And also, how would you guys fix Marvel Comics as a whole from being destroyed? We'll ignore that last line.
Whoa, that's like one small question and then a gigantic leap.
We're going to ignore that second part about Marvel and just focus on the Bendis and the Superman specials. And
where did Marvel come from?
We're going to
I didn't see it.
Yeah, that's totally unrelated.
Oh my god!
He's like, I'm just going to throw some shade.
Yeah, I didn't even see that until I just read it. But I'm going to go to Gordon first because you guys are very vocal about Superman and stuff on Frontline, so we'll get Gordon's take on this.
My thoughts on Brian Michael Bendis taking over both Superman and Action Comics can be summed up in several words. No, hell no.
Gordon, could I take it one step closer?
Oh, please do.
Echo! Red alert!
I was going to say, I very for that.
As well say, it's very faint in the background. So
darn it! I'm sorry, I can't.
Kind of blew the effect there, but
Echo! Stop!
Okay, are we good with Echo now? All right.
Yeah. I had to stop it or it would keep going.
Yeah. Gordon, do you think it's a good idea that Dan Jurgens and Tomasi, they both get a special issue to wrap up each of their arcs? Or do you even care?
I think that, every time DC does something good, they do something really boneheaded like this. It's like I just think that Bendis is hugely miscast to write Superman. Mm. I appreciate that, yes, they're being given the chance to end out their arcs, but it really smacks of, because the Bendis deal isn't just Bendis writes Superman. I mean, he brings Jinx World and everything over to DC. Mm-hmm. I really it just doesn't, like, if you had said Bendis was writing Batman, or even if they said he's writing Deathstroke, I could see it. He tends to do that noir crime thing really well. I just think with Superman, no.
Yeah.
No.
I agree. It's. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just no. That's all I can say is no.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little out of his element, and I thought, honestly, I said this when we were kind of speculating on what books he should write, and I said Justice League because Superman's in it, but I think he handles teams really well. But yeah, I think I would rather see him on Batman than Superman. But I'm gonna give him like a chance, because he does tend to surprise me sometimes at the beginning. So we'll see. Jay.
As I said before, I'm giving him a chance, and if he screws it up, we're gonna have words, and it won't be pretty, and it won't be during Lent.
No.
And it won't be Fortniting.
No, it won't.
Oh,
you wish
could
he was getting
like
Fortniting.
Yeah, it could end up like Fortnite. Just a reality version of it.
Let's not go there, Chris.
If for the specials, the action is about Lex Luthor's whole being a superhero thing. And it's called The Last Will and Testament of Lex Luthor. So that one I'm interested in. I'm wanting to see what it is. Superman, not as much because it's Dinosaur Island. Do we need to go back to that one?
Oh no, that's the first arc he's doing?
No, that's the special.
That's the special that Peter J. Tomasi's wrapping up. He's wrapping up that story that was in that. I think it was an annual, or was it just a one shot?
I think it was just.
I think it was just a.
I thought it was just a filler issue.
Yeah, I think it could have been either a filler. I think it was the 2 filler issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's wrapping up that story, so that one I'm not really that excited about. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Why that one? There are so many other things you could have done with your arcs, like wrap up them, but that one you choosing to wrap up, okay. But yeah, I think the Action Comics one is going to be really good.
All right, Chris.
I'm in the same boat as Jay. I'm going to say that off the bat. If he does a good job, great. If not, I'll send Jay after him. Jay's better at that than me. My thing now, the thing I question it. First of all, I'm sad to see Dan Jurgens leave again, especially because he came back. Superman was down in the dumps. He took over. Peter J. Tomasi took over, and Superman.
I would say more Peter J. Tomasi because he took over before. Well, he took over before New 52. And he made me actually like the New 52 Superman.
I never liked the New 52 Superman.
Near the end, you did. Near the end, you did. When he during the death of him and all.
Yeah.
He made you care about the Superman. So I would give a lot of the credit for the resurgence of Superman. For me, anyway, to Peter J. Tomasi.
I think they both did it. Yeah, they both did it.
He started with Lois and Clark, and then he carried over into the Superman book. And
No, Dan Jurgens did Lois and Clark. Dan Jurgens wrote.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
No, but you're right. Peter J. Tomasi made us care about a character we didn't care about, and then took over Superman. And then Dan Jurgens, on the flip side, brought the old Superman into the New 52 universe, and then continued it. So the both of them really brought Superman back from the slumps. Now here comes my concern. Look, Superman is going to be the action-heavy Superman book, no longer the family, book where it's Superman and his son. So that's gone. That's axed out, or it'll take over. Bad thing. No, it isn't. It's true because it's getting old now. But Action is going to be a Clark Kent Daily Planet centric story, examining the cultures and in Metropolis and Superman's impact in whole in the DC universe.
Now, before you say anything else, Chris, I'm gonna interject one thing. I get where you're going with that they should be flipped, kind of.
No,
action should be. That's not what you're saying. Okay.
No, not at all. Okay, go ahead. You go first because yeah.
I was just going to argue that Action Comics has always been kind of the side story.
Right. That's why I wasn't going to argue that. Okay, Action back when back before it was mainly Superman had a bunch of I don't know if you remember, it had a bunch of hosh-posh stories in it. It was kind of like several short stories.
Yeah.
So I'm sure a lot of people can argue it's Action Comics. The action should be there. No, my concern is it's as a Superman fan, I do want to see Clark. I mean, I do want to see him in the Daily Planet, but it sounds like this is going to be a boring. It's going to be a very boring kind of like, this is how Superman's impacted the world. He did this, and this is how the people have reacted. Now, he said he's going to introduce a lot of new characters. I think it's about time Superman got some new both cast and supervillains.
Yeah.
Because his supervillains, people have made fun of them for years. I'd like to see a little bit more of a diverse supervillain and Daily Planet. I want to see Ron come back. I mean, I miss Ron. I haven't seen Ron in forever. Ron Term. I would love to see him resurge in the Daily Planet. But I'm just concerned about Action because it sounds like he's going a very boring, kind of like a researchful route. And I hope that if DC sees that people aren't biting, and if this series the sales start to go down, and that DC has the idea to at least look, Brian, you got to change the story. Yeah, you got to switch the story up.
I think they're more conscious now of it, especially since New 52, because even New 52, they gave issues like 8 issues. If you didn't make it, you were gone. Like, I think they're pretty good.
But I'm sure it's in Bendis' contract. it might be in Bendis' contract. They might just tell him to shift gears, like you said.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they definitely at least tell him to shift gears. But my thing is, I'm hoping that they make Action Comics more of like a Lois Lane investigative journalism, where she actually has she gets into some action, because that could be an interesting thing, like her dealing with the Superman's doing his own thing, like the superheroics, and then Lois Lane is doing like her own kind of heroics by helping him with her investigative journalism and all that. And maybe we can see Jimmy back in action because the man of action has not seen action in years.
I agree. Now, the one thing I will say, since you bring Jimmy up, I don't mind introducing us to new characters. I want that. Like I just said, it's nice to have a diverse cast and supervillain roster. Do not change. Look, I mean, he is already writing Man of Steel, which is going to be kind of a
new origin.
Yeah, a new origin. But Superman's had a dozen new origins. Let's face that. I mean,
they can get retcon in 5 seconds.
Exactly.
Birthright was supposed to be the official new origin, and then people didn't like it. They were like, okay, that's not the origin.
Exactly. I liked the Man of Steel one from '86, but I mean, they had Man of Steel. They had so many different ones. I just don't want them
to list them all.
Yeah, I just don't want them to retcon characters. I don't want them
I don't think they're going to do that. I think DC's more respective of the characters, especially for like Superman, because he's like he's a pillar of their company. He's that character. I don't think they're going to change them really. So I think we'll have more characters and it'll be more diverse and all that. But I don't think they're going to recast or change anything about the mainstays, just because everyone knows them for what they are. And I think Brian Michael Bendis, because when he was saying why he went to DC, was he just rediscovered his love of Superman. So I don't think if he said it that way and he honestly feels that way, then I don't think he would want to change anything about these characters. And that's why Brant chose to put Gordon first, because Chris and I can go on forever on this subject.
Oh yeah, it's just I want to. For me, as long as he keeps the legacy, this is what DC's known for. You keep the legacy the way it is, and you add to it. Awesome. Origin stories. Superman's had a dozen. I don't mind another origin story that will tell this version of Superman.
I still think we really need it.
We don't. I mean, we've
had. I mean, just in the last year, like we said on Frontline Live, the last year we've had like 3 different times that they explained his origin to us. It doesn't need to be that much. We all know he was rocketed from space, from a dying planet. He arrived in Kansas, raised by the Kents. That's all. The only thing
that keeps changing is the Kents were dead, the Kents were alive, the Kents are dead, the Kents are alive. Now the Kents got hit by a car and are dead, but they might be back alive because Dr. Manhattan might be behind it. To be continued.
Yeah. And I will also note. The last thing I want to note is Superman will be starting back as #1, where Action Comics will continue as 1001.
I don't. Why renumber it? They just did Rebirth. They just started at #1. That's something that annoys me.
I said it. I agree. That's just what they're doing. He's going to launch as a #1. So,
although Superman has. To be fair, Superman has been restarted several times as #1. 91. In the 80s, and then
they should have just started up with the Legacy #4 because it's past 800 now.
It just passed 800 recently. That was a perfect time to switch it back, but what can you do? Maybe 9. You know what? 900.
700.
They'll do it at 900. No, they'll do it at 900. There'll be Superman 900. Watch, because they'll want Superman to hit 1,000 too.
Yeah, that's like years from now, Chris.
Well, unless they go like bi-weekly or twice.
Oh no, they're going back to monthly schedules. Okay. So both
for now.
Once
they're
a
going
month.
Back once a month.
Yes. So you'll expect them to jump up from $2.99 to $3.99 because only the bi-weekly books were coming out as $2.99, and some of the lower tier books were still $2.99. But
that's unfair. What about the other books that are bi-weekly? So just Superman's getting the slap in the wrist?
Maybe he can't maybe he can keep up with the pace, and they're doing it to adapt to his pace. I mean, there's going to be a 3-month gap between the last issues, and that's why they're doing this, because they're doing just 2 specials, and then they're going to do the Man of Steel miniseries. Then they're going to come back with the books. So he's getting a space. Remember, also he had the whole injury and the whole illness, so he's like, he's taking a hit. He's taken a few hits since he left Marvel.
But they change all the time what books are bi-weekly and what books are monthly. So
I mean, it could go back to bi-weekly if he catches up, or he's
I don't think Bendis will catch up. He's on 8 books. Come on, that's why that's definitely a reason.
We figured out what was it? 2 for this, 2 for Jinx World, and he's doing whatever other project he has. So it's at least 5 books. Because he's doing the other project for the new imprint thing, and he's also got his hands into the movie stuff.
Everybody's saying it's Ultimate DC. I'm nervous about that.
It sounds like Ultimate DC, because they said that it's going to be using classic DC characters and creating new twists on them and creating new
Ultimate
characters.
DC.
So it's basically his version of the Ultimate DC. I don't think they're going to call it that, but...
No, it'll be something. They'll think of a really cool surname for
alternative.
it. I'll buy it. Yeah, I'll buy it for sure. I'm gonna check. I mean, as long as it's not the main universe.
I mean, you never know. Everybody was against Ultimate Spider-Man, and then that came out, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, it's the best thing ever."
I loved Ultimate Spider-Man. That was the only book when I was reading Superman. That was the only book that broke my norm of Superman. I actually started getting Ultimate Spider-Man.
I mean, I remember when that came out, people were like, "We don't need to see another teenage Peter Parker. He's growing up, blah, blah, blah." And then the same exact people were like, "Have you read Ultimate Spider-Man yet?"
It was fantastic. I loved Ultimate Spider-Man.
All right. So I think
when it became Carnage, and then that was kind of like, what?
I don't think we needed fillers, Brian.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. Moving on to another question, because you guys can talk about that all night, like you said. Yes. We're actually going to go to Gordon's question. If there was a DC property that really deserved a show on the CW that's not already there, what would it be? Chris?
Green Lantern. I'd like to see Green Lantern.
My problem with that would be the budget.
That's the only downside. It would be the budget for Green Lantern. But I mean, if they could swing it somehow, the problem is I would have said Teen Titans, but they're already working on that for the app. Right. So it's hard to say, that or any of the other, obvious things that we want to say. So I'd love to see Superman too, but they're also in talks about that. So, I mean, all that's left is Green
Lantern. They're already having 2 Superman-centric shows. Plus Supergirl. So right. I doubt we'll get a 4th one.
Exactly.
So Gordon, you came up with the question. What is your pick for that?
I'd say, and I know we just talked about Superman-centric, I would do a Legion of Superhero series. But the way I would structure it would be like Mission Impossible, where you've got like your 2 main leads, and then you have like guest leads come in on various missions. So you not only do you not blow the budget, but you can also then vary the stories somewhat. So you make it like Legends of Tomorrow, but with people who don't screw up.
There you go.
I would go with The Outsiders, because I think that fits really well into the Arrowverse.
Which team, Brent? I gotta know.
Oh, Lord.
Because, when you say Outsiders, I already have 2 teams in my head.
The one that had, what's her name? The one that was in the movie.
Katana?
Yeah, Katana. I couldn't think of her name for some reason.
Okay.
That's one with
not
Katana, Metamorpho, and...
Okay, that's not the Batman.
So, Batman and The Outsiders.
Yeah.
No, it is Batman, The Outsiders, Katana, Metamorpho, Halo, Looker, Geoforce, and I'm forgetting...
Black Lightning.
That's it! Yeah, okay, it was. Yeah, that was Batman's. When he said Black Lightning, that's right.
Yeah. I think that would fit really well into that universe. They've already established some of those characters too.
Black Lightning. Mm-hmm.
Well, and Katana. She's been an Arrow.
Yep.
So they could just kind of spin that out and do its own thing, and it's more street level and everything, and so it wouldn't affect the budget as much either. So I think that would be interesting. All right, Jay.
I'm just gonna go with one that should have got made and it didn't get made. Aquaman. Because that was a great pilot. I love that pilot. If you haven't seen it, it was on one of the Smallville DVD. I think it was like season 6 or something.
6. It was season 6 where he made his first appearance. Jensen Ackles.
Well, no, I think he appeared in season 5, but I'm talking about the DVD. They gave the actual DVD of the pilot in one of the Smallville DVD sets. So, yeah.
You mean separate, like a separate disc?
I'm not sure if it was a separate disc. I can't remember.
It's a bonus feature.
Yeah, it's a bonus feature.
Oh, okay.
You can watch the pilot of it. It's a good pilot. Like, if it was me, the only reason why it wasn't me was because the networks merged and they were like, we can't do it because we got too many shows from UPN coming in, so we can't do this. Because it was the UPN and WB were merging into the CW at the time, and they were like, we can't do it. We have too many shows now. So that would have been a cool one. So I would like an Aquaman show.
Cool. All right. Let's see. What do we want to go to? We'll go to another one of Tevia's, I guess, because there's so many of them. I don't know if any of us are. Let's see. All right, this one's going to be probably more for Chris and Jay. What are your most anticipated anime coming up this year? And he says he's looking forward to My Hero Academia Season 3, Persona 5, Animate, and finally Attack on Titan Season 3. Oh, and also upcoming Dragon Ball Z animated movie coming out in December. So the original question was, what's your most anticipated anime this year?
The only anime I'm watching at the moment is Dragon Ball Super. I'm waiting for Season 2 of One Punch Man, My Hero Academia, and Attack on Titan Season 3. Both of those I'll agree with. That's really it. I haven't been keeping up with anime much lately. I've been super busy, so I'm only keeping up with the core animes. Oh, and Boruto I've been watching, so every now and again. I really have just been keeping up with my core stuff. I'm far behind on Dragon Ball Super, but I didn't know about the movie until now, so I'll probably be watching that when it comes out in December. But that's about it.
What about you, Jay?
One of the best series, anime, animated, live action, whatever you want to say. This is one of my favorite series, period, because it's very well done. Code Geass is getting a Season 3. So I'm very excited about that coming up. Cannot wait for it. I'm super pumped for it. And I would say also My Hero Academia Season 3. And finally we're getting Magical Index. A certain Magical Index Season 3. So I'm excited for those 3 of them. All Season 3s.
Nice. All right, I actually have one kind of. It's not really this year, but just today actually, after being recommended it by several people over and over again, I finally started watching Sword Art Online today. I watched the first couple episodes. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's kind of Ready Player One-ish with a twist, and they're actually developing a live-action version of it that was sold to Netflix earlier, not too long ago, actually. It was announced this month.
Which makes a lot of people cringe because of Death Note.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that live action, nor do we talk about Dragon Ball Z's live action. They don't exist.
That wasn't that bad. But,
Dragon Ball? Are you dead?
I liked it. Actually. Anyway.
Do you like the anime? Probably not.
No, I hate the anime.
Then that's why you like the movie.
Dude, it takes 5 episodes to deliver a punch. It's dumb.
It's called Dragon Ball Kai. They took away that 5-episode taking for the punch and made it 1.
Oh, just one episode to get a punch.
Yeah,
okay.
So it takes 25 minutes to throw a punch instead of...
yes.
So dumb. Anyway...
That movie was dumb.
I'm way behind on My Hero Academia. I only watched like a few episodes of the first season, but I guess
Season 2 gets way better.
Okay, I guess that would be one I'd be looking forward to if I was caught up. Gordon, do you watch any anime?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Except for Captain Twinkles.
Captain Twinkles would be a very good pirate
honestly, anime. Gordon and Brand, watch Code Geass. It is one of the best done stories that you will see. has a complete story in 2 seasons, and it's phenomenal.
How do you spell that?
Code, and then Geass is Geass.
Okay, so Code is okay.
Yeah, Code Geass.
Gotcha.
It's a phenomenal series. Just trust me on it. When you see it, you're going to be like, wow. I think it's on Netflix.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Dimension W is another good one. It's a one and done season for the series.
I'm gonna save Alan's question because that's kind of a deep one. All right, Tevye. With Young Justice Season 3 coming out later this year, and the upcoming Death of Superman Part 1 and Return of Superman Part 2 animated movie coming out in 2019, I am just wondering, do you guys think DC Animation is finally coming back full swinging? It's a two-part question, so we'll just leave it at that for that one. I guess basically the question is, do you think DC Animation is getting back on track after a few minor blips during the New 52 stuff that didn't quite go so well?
All I'm going to say is Batman Ninja, and it's coming out soon.
That was one of his other questions. But anyway, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to save that then.
Jay?
I never really had a problem with DC Animation for me personally. Yeah, movies are hit and miss, but when you put out 3 movies a year, you're going to get some hit and misses. You know, it's just statistical. You're going to get it.
See, I didn't really think they fell into a slump. I thought the 2 or 3 New 52 base ones they did, the animation itself was weak. I didn't mind the stories. It was just the animation style I didn't care for. But I thought, they followed that up with, I know it kind of got panned, but the Killing Joke, they did that. They did, that they did a couple of 2-parters, right? Or at least one 2-parter.
Yeah, I think it was just more the continuation.
The Dark Knight, Batman the Dark Knight.
Had 2 parts, yeah. My big thing is time constraints, I think, might need improvement, because the last movie, which was, I can't remember it. I just did a media management on this, I just can't remember it.
Gotham by Gaslight.
I think that time constraints really killed that movie for me, because if they would have made it a little bit longer, it would have been a whole lot better.
Oh, I canceled my order for that. Everybody was saying such negative things about the movie. I said, you know what?
It's just they didn't have enough time to flesh out a character for the twist, and because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, that I feel if they would have had that time, they could have done that, and then they could have produced a better show. The movie was good. It's just that the twist part didn't really hit you because there was no time to develop that character prior to that.
Gotcha. Gordon, thoughts?
Well, I do think I don't know if I would say that DC Animation is coming back swinging, only because I think they've tried to make an effort to be consistent in terms of quality. I do think for a while they leaned a little too hard to their New 52 stuff.
Yeah.
I think DC has always been conservative and depending on your Superman, Batman, Justice League, and your kind of big event tentpole books. I do think that I know Brant, you said that the Killing Joke was just panned. I think it should be destroyed. I think it should be wiped in the same way that many classic Doctor Who episodes were wiped. It fails on so many levels, including just a straightforward adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think I've not seen Gotham by Gaslight. I do think DC needs to not only be a little bit more creative with the things it's adapting. I think it also really needs to start opening up. Why not do a totally made for DVD? Pull out. You've got this great catalog of characters.
Yeah.
Why not do like a showcase movie? one of
They
them can
did
be.
one of them, I think, before. I remember it was like the Green Arrow and Black.
It was the Shazam.
Okay, I'm not talking
Superman.
about. Okay, Jay, I'm not talking about shorts. I'm talking about. There was one showcase collection that was like a series of short subjects. I'm talking about a movie where you do 2 or 3 stories with B, C, D list characters. I think there needs to be a much more. I think there's a certain amount of creative fatigue that's starting to set in with DC Animated, only because you have to do a certain quality for so long, you're going to get tired. I think they need to kind of maybe loosen up a little creatively, because that's where I think you're going to get the most amount of growth. The fact that we're going to the Death of Superman, which is actually a 2-part remake of Superman Doomsday. It kind of goes, okay, guys,
that really needed to be remade.
That
did. Be burned too.
No, Superman. What I take it as is Superman Doomsday was the Death of Superman for Superman the Animated Series. This one, the Death,
which was already done in Justice League, I think.
Or
was it Superman?
No, it wasn't. No, he went into a different universe. Superman never died. They thought he was dead.
Well, I'm saying it was essentially the same story.
Yeah, and they had Doomsday. They did have Doomsday. They put Doomsday in the Phantom Zone. Yeah, and also they did set up for it. They did, you're right. I just remembered evil Superman lobotomized the Doomsday with the brain, and then they sent him into the Phantom Zone. Yeah,
it was essentially that story. It's just that they adapted it for, we don't want to kill Superman, so we'll just send him to this dimension and have him do this little thing. Everyone would think he's dead, but then we'll bring him back. It was the same exact thing. They just tweaked it because they didn't want to kill, so that was the only difference in it, really. But I'm glad that they're doing the Return of Superman, the Death and the Return of Superman, because that movie was very weak and it was the first one out the gate. And
that was. Yeah,
I think this one we could get some better quality stuff with, because that's a great story, and both of them are great stories. So to get them actually the credit that they deserve, I hope their running time's a little bit better than 70 minutes. I hope they have better running time, but yeah.
I also think they need to back away. I mean, this is gonna sound horrible. They gotta back away from so many Batman movies. I mean, at least once a year there's a Batman one.
No, it's I think it's one Batman a year, one original a year, or an adaptation, and then there's one either Justice League / Teen Titans type a year.
Well, let me put it this way. We just had Gotham by Gaslight. That's Batman. Up next is Batman Ninja. Up next is also Suicide Squad, which Batman's in. And then we have the Death of Superman. So anyone who's not a fan of Batman or Superman is not going to be buying any DC animated movies this year.
Well, honestly,
and Chris, you just made my point for me.
Exactly. No, your point is what I'm bouncing off of, Gordon. That's the exact point I'm jumping on.
They tried with an Aquaman-led Justice League movie, which was okay because it was Justice League, which is really just Aquaman movie. That's why it did well, because it was sold as a Justice League movie.
You mean Atlantis?
They did Wonder Woman. It did not do well. Which,
even though it was good,
it's their best movie, in my opinion. Wonder Woman is still their best movie that they've done so far. Green Lantern did not do well the first night. They even tried to say, okay, let's just give them another one, Emerald Knights, and it was like the little shorts in there. It was like 4 or 5 different stories.
Yeah, that
did not do well. So they were like, no Green Lanterns anymore, So it's like they try to give other stuff, but no one's buying it. And as company,
notice the ones that they do, like Justice League New Frontier, Superman, Batman, Public Enemy, the ones that are based off of and follow the story arcs of the characters, those do better. Superman the Elite, I'm looking at them right now. All-Star Superman, the original.
I'm not saying
Under the Red Hood.
I'm just saying it's because you're saying about too many Batman and all that. I'm saying, but that's what people buy. So it's like, Brant, you run LEP, right? So if you have a book and it's not selling, but you have another book that sells very well, are you going to produce, say, a 5th issue of the one book that's not selling,
right?
Or are you going to produce a second issue of a book that sells really well?
Of course, but to Chris's point, I think, and just kind of take it a little sidetrack, if the writing was better on the ones that aren't selling, they would sell better.
Right. Again, look at Superman. I mean, look at Wonder Woman. Brilliant movie.
True.
I mean, I love that animated movie. But it just didn't sell.
It was the wrong timing.
I think so.
And let's be clear, Jay. There's actually they re-released that movie
and
when the live-action movie came out.
And there was a spike. Sold well.
But I get a little frustrated when somebody says, "But it's the only stuff that sells." Well, the way I would see it is, first, you don't know what's going to sell when you release it. Green Lantern was released because Green Lantern was on a high. Wonder Woman was released because at that time they were looking for something unique. You don't, you can't keep putting out Superman, Batman, Justice League, Superman, Batman, Justice League.
Right.
Yes, it may sell, but you know what? If you look at all those Superman titles, there's going to be a wide variance in what sells. Batman, wide variance.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely going to be more that sells better than others.
To back up your point, Gordon, think about it this way. Marvel took a chance putting the Guardians of the Galaxy movie out. No matter how good it was, they took a chance because nobody knew who they were, and it was completely different from everything they put out, and it did phenomenally well.
Right.
So, I mean, if they have solid writing, solid animation, and they market it correctly, it's going to sell.
But it's also a different beast when you do theater releases versus DVD releases. Because I think theater releases, more people are like, oh, let's go watch it. Plus, Marvel also had, 7 years of, high-rated movies by that time, and there people were like, oh, let's go see the new Marvel movie, just because people want to see the new Marvel movie, It's like a good reputation was built. I think if DC consistently puts out good stuff, then they can afford to take more chances. But I'm not against any of the new, I want different films. I'm just playing devil's advocate as a, marketing point of view and a business point of view. You have to, really weigh your options. If no one's really feeling those other properties, then you have to put out what you want, what they want. But I feel if they put out solid stuff of those, where viewers who watch them really enjoy them, like Marvel did, they had the several years of solid movies where people really enjoyed them, that they could do another one, and then people are like, oh, there's a new DC animated movie out, and then they'll pick it up more for that than they would just because they know the character.
I agree with you, and I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, I feel like, okay, yeah, they're not in the theaters, they're straight to DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, but at the same time, I feel like with those kind of movies, people really pay more attention to the reviews before they buy them. And if the reviews were good, meaning the films were good, I think the sales would go up.
I'm saying if they put out the good quality.
To bounce up Brand's point, look at Batman the Killing Joke. That is a book that fans have wanted to see adapted. It got adapted and it got trashed.
Oh yeah,
and
I was one of the people who trashed it.
And I actually saw it. I checked it out of the local library, and I hate my local library now. It doesn't work, and I think too often I hear the thing of, well, that's what sells. You need to make stuff that sells, that quote appeals to the fans. And at some point, the thing that I think gets also missing is the audience is much bigger than we can conceive. So doing stuff that's very limited, it's not like, yes, you have to make a business decision, which is probably why we will probably never see an animated Rob Liefeld project.
Thankfully.
But you cannot, too many comic readers and animation fans have said, you need to do what the fans want. And it's like, no. You have to assume that your audience is bigger than you can conceive of. And that's where I think DC is really, I think, on the adaptation, they're moving in a slightly different direction because they leaned so hard into the New 52. It was like, no, not everyone who catches a DC animated movie is necessarily a New 52 fan. They know their niche is kind of adaptations of past comic stories. So they know, but I think there's room to do a little bit more in terms of opening up the story, which Killing Joke did not do. There's a lot more opportunity to do things with characters to make them hip and cool. The fact is, there are some DC Nation YouTube channel has some really cool, like 2-minute Doom Patrol shorts. You could make a decent half-hour Doom Patrol segment of an anthology movie and put that out. And I think DC kind of, I would suggest they kind of have an obligation to start working some of their other older material. I mean, if one of the comics that DC is publishing right now is based on a guy who explored caves in the 1950s, they can pretty much do anything at this point.
I would say this. I think they are listening to fans more currently because we are getting the remake of the actual translation of the Death of Superman and the Return of Superman. We did get Young Justice back, so I think they are listening to what fans want now, and I think we're going to get more of them later on, but these are also projects that have been probably in the works for 2 or 3 years before. So we're going to have to wait a couple of years before we start to see more diversity, especially because with their other stuff they had, like we had the Vixen
that was
CWC.
another good one.
We had just recently Ray and the Freedom Fighters on CWC. Constantine's getting a CWC animated series, which equals to one actual animated episode each of them. But so I think they are going to be doing more stuff with their stuff later on. But I think it's going to take a little bit time to get there.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We'll move on to another question. Let's see. We'll go with.
Can you guys hear me?
Now?
Yes.
All right.
Now we can.
Yeah, I had to reset my mic to before we started recording because apparently my mic went completely off.
Yeah, I thought I heard you in the background a little bit, and I was like, nah.
No wonder why. I'm like, gee, Jay really wants to get his point across because he won't let me talk at all. And then I'm like, oh, well, now that makes sense. Sorry about that. I was agreeing with Jay that, when you said there were different titles, I mean, we got some nice Teen Titan animated ones. I did like Titans versus the Justice League. That was a good one. But I agree with Gordon, too. I would like to see a little bit more of you have so many. You have just don't ever do Dark Knight's Metal. Don't you ever do Metal, DC. Never animate that. Never animate that.
They could because it has done well in sales, so.
Don't do it.
I have a list of like B and C characters that I want to see. Even D characters that I would like to see in animation.
Booster Gold. Give me a Booster Gold animated movie.
Super Buddies, formerly known as the Justice League. That was a great thing to adapt. Those are not Justice League that you would think of, but those are good ones just off the top of my head, Yeah.
Get the Grant Morrison Justice League movie. What do you call it? When Grant Morrison did Superman, Batman, Wally, Flash, Wonder Woman, Plastic Man, get like that group. No, not Plastic Man. John Jones.
We're trying to go away from the conventional stuff, Chris.
Oh well, I would still
That's what we were pitching.
I want Grant Morrison's Justice League. Well, no, actually, I'm lying. We got it. Justice League. That's how they kind of did the Justice League formation in the Justice League TV series. Never mind.
All right, moving on. What Marvel characters or storylines would you love to see for Marvel Animation to adapt for an original animated movie? This is also from Tevye. He said personally he'd love to see the Real Clone Saga, Spider-Girl, or X-Men versus Avengers.
Of course it would.
Gordon.
Ooh, that's a good question. Marvel Animated. You know what would be... This is really going to be pulling back through history. I would really, really love to see an animated movie of Captain America being thawed and joining the Avengers.
That would be cool. The first Avengers, yeah.
Because you'd have this team of, like, you could see where they're just like, hey, look, we're doing superhero stuff, but we got a crazy green guy, we've got a coked up douchebag in armor, we've got a guy that can shrink down to the size of an ant, we've got a guy with and I'm not talking an Ultimates type take. I mean, you've got a group that's struggling to come together. And then you've got Captain America coming in, and he provides them with enough of the inspiration. Plus, you could do the whole fish out of water thing. So that's a movie a Marvel movie, an animated movie I would really love to see.
Okay, cool. No, that would be a very interesting one. Mine, I'm going to sound like a broken record because I talk about this being one of my favorite storylines of all time, but the original Age of Apocalypse.
That would be cool.
Yeah. I think it would be interesting to see that animated. Jay?
I agree with Tevye on the real Clone Saga because that was a really solid read. It was just a mini series to say this is what the Clone Saga was supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, before it got greedy and ruined the whole thing.
Right.
I will also say the Phoenix Saga, the Dark Phoenix Saga, and Joss Whedon's The Gifted from Astonishing X-Men.
Okay. That was a good storyline. Chris?
I would like to see some of the Wolverine main stories put to animated. I'd like to see Old Man Logan, the original Old Man Logan. That'd be cool. The first arc of X Factor, where the original X-Men come back together and form X Factor, that would be a cool animated movie. Honestly, at this point, I'm a huge Wolverine fan, so if they picked a really good Wolverine arc and did that as an animated movie, it would. I mean, when they did Wolverine versus Hulk, I mean, it was a sale, like, immediately. So I would say anything Wolverine related, I probably would grab. But I would like to see the original X Factor, the X-Men that's separated now coming back together as X Factor.
I would love to see a Darkhawk movie.
Darkhawk, I would watch also, actually.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, nice.
New Warriors.
Yeah, New Warriors, of course.
Fantastic Four, fill in the blank story arc, whichever story arc. Fantastic Four had a lot of fantastic.
I would love the who wrote the one? I can't think of it right now. The one with them in the red costumes.
James Robinson actually wrote that one, I think.
Okay, yeah, I would love that one.
Yeah, that was
a really good one.
Yeah. Nothing from Jonathan Hickman's run. Just saying.
I would say that probably for every comic book that he did for Marvel. None of his runs on any of his comic books. But the original Secret Wars would be really cool.
Mm.
Who I'd love to see in an animated movie? Moon Knight.
That would be good.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
That would be a really nice, good, higher rating one because you can delve into the deeper themes with that. So
yeah.
Right. Yeah, especially if you do the Warren Ellis white suited and masked.
I was right with you up until that time. Until you said that.
I never read it.
I didn't really like it.
Well, no, if you do it with much more of a noir twist rather than the Mooncopter. I think it would work. I think it would work better instead of if you do it with the Mooncopter and the cape, it comes off as a little too Batman-ish. If you do it in the white suit and the mask and do it really noir, but still develop the whole idea that this guy is like three different guys in the same head, that I think would be more interesting.
There's no way they could probably do this because Spider-Man's kid friendly, but I would love to see like a really edgy Maximum Carnage actually.
Oh, I
Craven's
was
Last Hunt
thinking
would be
that,
good,
but
too.
I didn't say that just because they did kind of do that in the '90s series. They just kiddied it.
Yes.
But I would love to see a remake of that.
They did the Phoenix and Dark Phoenix saga kind of in the '90s show, but I mean, I want a real adaptation of it, Right. So it wasn't going off of what was done before because Spider-Man and X-Men pretty much did a lot of the big things. You know, I think they even did Age of Apocalypse, if I remember correct. But they didn't do it. They didn't do it the correct way. You know,
right?
Even X-Men Evolution started to try to touch on that.
Yeah,
I would like to see season 2 of Wolverine and the X-Men. That Nickelodeon kind of just like.
No, I'm okay with that because
I want to because they left us on such. I mean, what? Like, give us a concluding movie, like a 60 to 90-minute movie, just like fixing
Emma.
the
I don't like
apocalypse thing. Oh, I hate Emma. Kill her off for all I care. But I mean, seriously, I want that resolved. The whole apocalypse.
How about
After that, I don't care.
Never will happen in a million years. But how about DC vs Marvel movie?
Okay, you just sold me.
I mean, it would never happen in a million years.
I know.
Especially now with Disney. But
so what? Avengers versus Justice League, or just in general?
No, the general one though.
Anyone I didn't mind JLA versus Avengers.
I know. I didn't mind it, but I want the original one. I want the long-haired Superman versus the smart Hulk. You know, the Bruce Banner-controlled Hulk. I like that. I like Aquaman with the beard versus Namor, throwing a whale on top of Namor.
You just love Superman with long hair.
Namor.
Yes.
Yes, Namor.
Namor. Whatever. I don't care. He should die and stay dead like Kat said.
Okay, Kat.
I agree with Kat on that one. I really could care less about Namor. Screw him.
Okay.
Aquaman did it better. But I will say
of...
this. We did mention, I'm sorry, I'm going to side notice 2 seconds. I'm sorry. We talked about Disney and stuff. I wish Disney would just buy the Turtles at this point, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because at this point, Nickelodeon is just burying that series so hardcore, it's not even funny.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, we discussed that on Frontline Live.
I know. At this point, and I'm sure Brant said it, I'm just ignoring anything that comes out of Nickelodeon at this point because we got the comics, and the comics aren't following Nick at all. But man, oh man,
Nickelodeon just signed a 3-year deal with Power Rangers, so I'm okay with
I'm very.
And they have Hunter Street. That's a good show. Hunter Street's a good show for Nick.
Beast. I'm sorry, Beast. Whatever they're going with now.
Go Busters is a great series.
Go Busters was an excellent series, but Beast, whatever, Beast Morph.
It might have a sucky name, but I mean,
it better have a good story. That's all I have to say. Super Mega Force. Enough said.
Power Rangers, good story. That's funny. I'm sorry.
Hey,
you know, Brad.
Time Force. Watch In Space. Watch Time Force. They are great series.
Okay.
And
I'll just have to take your word for it.
I'm just saying those two
I'm never gonna watch it, Jay. I'm never gonna watch it.
I know. I'm just saying those are good. Those are good series. You can ask anyone; they would tell you those two are really good seasons.
Okay, I will take your word for it.
Whatever, man. But the Turtles need to go to Disney. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not even acknowledging that this series exists, Raphael.
Doesn't mean that it won't still be on Nick. I mean,
I know.
Disney outsources their stuff occasionally, so
that's fine. But at least Disney will tell them fix it and put. I mean, at this point, they're not even canon anymore. It's so out there. It's out there.
Yeah. As I was gonna say, speaking of Kat, she asked us a question.
Cool.
Top 5 favorite titles right now for each of us, and you don't have to do top 5. We'll just your favorite titles, your favorite books you're reading right now that are coming out right now. We'll give Gordon a chance to talk now.
Yes.
Okay. Well, so far the one book that I've enjoyed, and this is kind of, it's not a mainstream DC book, but there's a miniseries called Nightwing the New Order, which did for the DC universe what Secret Empire tried to do but failed horribly and kind of took a poop all over the bed. It's about Dick Grayson. Basically, there's like a big conflict with superheroes. Dick Grayson says something that takes their powers away. I mean, even Superman, and it's like a weird totalitarian government. And Dick's son develops superpowers one day. And so it's a really... It's the kind of political book that doesn't, like, Secret Empire tried way too hard, and it's really
shoved it down your throat.
Yeah, and it also, I think, did a little bit, and we've had this conversation before, but I think Secret Empire was never quite honest in saying well, of course we're doing this just to get sales. With
Mm-hmm.
Nightwing the New Order, it hits the right pitch and the right tone, and it never felt like, oh, I'm reading something that's. It never said, hey, we're political. It actually
subtle.
Very subtle. So that's the one book this year that I've read that I'm like, woohoo, I'm proud.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, it was better than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to hate it because I've just not enjoyed much Nightwing stuff in years. But yeah, it's a pretty decent book. Jay.
Mech Cadet U is one that jumps right out of my head because I love that. It's a Boom comic. It's really good. It's about this kid who joins. He's a janitor. He's the janitor's son, and he helps his mom clean up the school for these pilot robots and to fight this swarming army that keeps attacking Earth every so many years. And he gets a robot when he's not supposed to. And now he has to become a cadet. And it's a really great book. If you like anime, you would definitely love this. I will also say Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from Boom also.
Yep.
Phenomenal series. Love what they're doing with Shattered Greed coming up. I cannot wait for that. So Mighty Morphin Power Rangers actually has me on the edge of my seat waiting for each issue to come out. So those two, I would say, would be my top two.
Cool. All right, Chris?
Well, you know that the Superman books are right up there right now. I mean, before Bendis takes over, they are chart-topping for me. But I agree with Jay. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Birthright's one of my absolute favorite books that comes out from Image. Invincible was one. I mean, we got a great final issue this past Wednesday. We'll be talking about that, I'm sure, on Frontline Live, and we'll also be talking. Well, by the time everybody hears this off Patron, it'll be after. So we've already talked about it. But beside the point, I'm trying to think of something Marvel related because most of my favorite books, like Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, I'm really, really enjoying that series. That's about really. I'm really just touching on everything at the moment, but Superman's at my top, and I wish Nightwing would get a little bit better. It was up there. It kind of dropped down. Hal Jordan's been really good. Birthright Saga. And
good Marvel book, Marvel 2-in-1, Chris.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Marvel 2-in-1. I am enjoying Marvel 2-in-1. It's pretty high up there. It's not in my top 5, but it's very, very close. I'm enjoying it.
I think we have to say this because it's... Echo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Gordon's end, I think.
Since Cat Access...
Oops. I said the E word, that's why.
Oh.
Since Cat Access, I think we are obligated to say Runaways.
Nope. Nope.
No.
I'm not digging Runaways at all. I'm on the opposite.
So I will say it. I am digging it. And how about, I know, Brain, this has to be on your list, Archie.
Yeah, Archie's fantastic.
Archie I fell off of, man. But I never was invested in Archie anyway. Maybe that's why, for me.
It's so good, though. I mean, just because it still maintains that classic feel, but it gives you that modern drama.
Paper Girls?
What?
Paper Girls?
Well, Paper Girls. Yeah, Paper Girls is good. I don't know.
It takes so many breaks.
Paper Girls is one of those that it always ends up in my top 5, but at the same time, it's one of the last books I read. And not because I'm saving it, because I'm like, I know I'm going to enjoy it, but it's one of those that I have to kind of make myself read. It's really weird that way.
I want more answers from that book. It just keeps giving you questions, and when you're building a mystery and want people to get involved in it, you need some answers eventually. And I think they're slow on giving you the answers. Then it takes the breaks and it kills the story. So I mean, I could also put Black Magic there. Great book. But it took a long break between issues. It was like a 6-7 month break or something like that. I was like, okay.
See, I'm the same as you with Super Sons. I just feel like it's taking a long time to establish that book. It really is a slow one.
I think that's more just I like it because it's a fun book and it's not something that I tell people, oh, you have to go read this. But Mech Cadet U, I tell everyone they have to read it.
Gotcha. beyond that, I mean, like you said, Archie is really good. I'm trying to think of books like when I see they're coming out, it's like, oh, that's the first thing I have to read.
X-Men Blue.
No, not X-Men Blue. I'm actually avoiding that current story arc. Like the
dude! After what I read today, I think I'm actually going to be trying.
I'm not even reading it. I realized
you can definitely miss it.
I realized it was Poison X, and I was like, nope, not reading it.
I think I'm dropping it. I think I'm dropping it in ARC early, and I'm going to ride out the physical copies for my own personal.
Yeah, I have to agree with Birthright. That's like my favorite Image title. I think it's just really good book, and this one's just because it's dumb fun WWE. I love that book. It's also from Studios. I think that's a really solid book. And the new book that just came out from DC, Sideways. I really like that first issue.
That was a really good.
Well, how is it? Don't spoil it, because I actually have it on my next 3 books to read.
I'm not going to spoil it, but I think all of us that have read it so far have said it's very Spider-Man-ish.
Good.
But with a nice twist to it.
With a nice twist to it, yeah. It's a pretty cool book. And it doesn't delve too deeply into the metal stuff.
Yeah. It just says, hey, this happened in that book, and then this is where it picks up.
Okay, cool.
I'm still getting that echo.
Yeah, I just got it back.
It's gone.
Man, I'm blanking. I'm trying to think of somebody. I know they're Old Man Hawkeye. Old Man Hawkeye.
Oh, TMNT. I'm so dumb. TMNT is one of my top faves from indies.
You're so dumb that you said I so dumb.
Yeah.
I so dumb. I forget Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Old Man Hawkeye really surprised me because I hate the Old Man Logan book. It's just so boring for me for some reason. But
I'm done. This was my last issue this week. Done.
Oh, I dropped it at like issue 9. I'm way done. But but yeah, Old Man Hawkeye just really surprised me. I love the Elseworld take on Hawkeye there. It's he's going blind and all that stuff, and it's really interesting to see him at that stage in his life and kind of taking on this last mission. It's a really interesting book. So, all right, let's move on. How many more do we want to go, guys?
I'm good. Whenever you're done, I'm done.
That's helpful.
I can do this all night.
Okay. So we'll go to Alan's question, which is not comic related at all. It's a interesting question though. Alan asks, if you could go back to school, what few things would you change? And this goes for all of us. So, what would you change if you could go back to school, Gordon?
Okay, let's see. Well, the first thing I would do is not sleep in class and take notes and actually study. I think one of the things I would have done is maybe taken a few more business classes and classes on marketing, simply because as someone who's actually creating now and as someone who's freelancing now, it would be good to know some of that stuff. I think I also would have I was a little bit too dedicated to the book I think I would have been a lot more of a risk taker in my personal life. Like, I would have actually tried a little harder. In school I was kind of focused on, work. Mm-hmm. And I should have been a little bit more social. I mean, one of the best nights I ever had was when I hung out with some fellow students from a group therapy class, and it was, at the time I was not as confident as I am now. I wasn't everyone knows me as kind of the manliest man on Zone 4, and I was not always the case, and I really think I could have been a little bit, a couple of business classes and a lot more confident. So I think those are the two things that I wish I could have been back then.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that. For me, especially if I'm going to do this on 2 levels. If we're talking high school, I think I was a lot less confident back then, and I think being more social would have helped me come out of that a lot more. And into college, I was a little bit more confident, but I was like you, Gordon. I was like focused on the work and everything, And I actually did study business, but I went to school not knowing what I wanted to do with my life, so I just kind of took something that sounded interesting, which was computer science, and then I kind of floated into business, which is not a bad background to have, but it's not really the field that I've envisioned myself in, and I kind of was put on a path by a lot of feedback around me, and I let it affect me and shape me into a certain path that I ended up being miserable in. And I think if I could go back and change that, I would kind of embrace who I am a little bit more, and kind of, like you said, take a few more risks and kind of step outside that box and kind of do things a little bit differently in that way. That's what I would do. What about you, Jay?
I'm one of the few people that had a great experience in high school. Like, I loved high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no regrets on any of that. I don't want to relive. I don't want to remake any of it. My one thing would be, since I went to school in elementary school in the 80s, I would change a lot of my fashion. Because the 80s is not kind.
Yeah, a lot of us who grew up in the 80s would make different fashion decisions. So, you ain't the only one, Jay.
I think that's probably about it. It was just like the fashion of the time. Just go back and be like, nah, you don't have to wear that. Seriously, don't. Just wear a plain t-shirt and jeans. You're good. You don't have to follow anything like that. But
don't wear the sweatpants with one leg pulled up and the other one down, kind of thing.
Oh my god, I never would have done that. I didn't have that
many things that I think were like hard at the time for me worked out well. Like, I got into trouble in school for wearing glasses because I wanted to impress a girl who wore glasses. And at the time, I'm like, oh god, I got in trouble for this. But I got a date with the girl, so like it kind of worked out. So I'm like, it worked out for me. I was upset that I got in trouble for it. I had to explain to my parents why I got a note saying I was wearing my dad's glasses to school. But other than that, like, I just had like a really great time in school. So I don't know. Just the fashion I would change. That's the only thing I would actually change.
All right. Fair enough. Chris?
High school, I'm going to go further back than high school. The only thing I would change with high school was not to go to the one I did. If I could go back and tell myself, I had two choices. Mm-hmm. If I could go back in time, I'd tell myself, pick the other choice. Don't worry that animal science is in the other high school. You're going to regret it. You're going to drop out, and you're going to be upset, and it's going to be a hell of an experience for you. Mm-hmm. I mean, but that was high school. With elementary school, I was complete opposite of what I am now. I was always super paranoid about what people thought about me, and I think it also, I was going through a type of, not depression, but a type of depression where I was always paranoid people were talking about me or would talk about me. Like, for example, pre-show, the whole Captain Twinkles thing, that never would have happened in elementary school for me, because I'd always be afraid. Like, I would take what happened, where you guys were joking around and the whole puff thing. Back then, I would have been super paranoid about it, and it would have probably set me on a, like, oh my god, I gotta somehow fix this, I gotta change it. Not even thinking that, oh, we're just having a good time. I would be super paranoid that you guys would be talking behind my back, or that I just did something dumb, so I'd always be very conserved. The one thing I'd say is kind of like what you would do, Brand. I'd tell myself, just be you, and if people don't like you, too bad. Mm-hmm. Because I lost out on a lot of social opportunities because I was so quiet, and I was so just like, I was always afraid of what people thought, and I think it's what stifled who I was for a long, long, long time. Mm-hmm. And when I finally broke out and started, and it happened in college, when I finally broke out, I instant regretted every single year of elementary school. And the one thing I'd say to myself, if I could go back, first of all, if I had to go back and relive it, I'd cry every single day. I hated going to school. But if I did, I would fix the embarrassing moments of me being stupid and saying dumb things. And at the same time, I would just I would be myself and not give two craps what anybody thought, because, again,
that's a little contradictory, but yeah, I get
No, I would fix. See, I was very quiet. I was very reserved about anything I'd say or do because I didn't want to look stupid. But there were moments where I did say or do something, and that's another reason why I got even quieter because I had certain moments where I did or said something stupid, and that happened.
Just kind of caused you to retreat even further. Yeah, I did the same thing.
And I blame my best friend for one of the instances. My best friend, we were talking, and I forgot how it came to. We were talking about strength or whatever, and I said, yeah, if I punch somebody, something about punching or whatever. And he's like, yeah, punch me in the nose. I'll make you bet it wouldn't hurt at all. I'm like, dude, I'm not punching you in the nose. And he harassed me all day. Punch me. Finally, and about 4 hours later, I just snapped, turned around. I punched him so hard in the face, his nose concaved in on itself for a moment and then came back out. And he got the whole class to turn on me. And it was one of the worst experiences of my life because I was the quiet one, and now all of a sudden I'm getting all this attention, but it's not the right type of attention. You got guys that are like, "Oh, I'll punch you back. I'll defend you," like because all of a sudden I became the bad guy and he became the victim. Oh, it was the worst experience ever. I mean, we didn't talk for about 3 months, and then of course he apologized, and I said, "I'm sorry, I punched you in the nose, but you kind of asked for it." But
yeah.
That was one of the worst, if not the worst, situations I was ever in school.
So I feel kind of blessed that I had my dad for me because I never had the lack of confidence or care about what other people thought.
Dude, when we compare me to you, be happy you have a dad, period. I cannot say this.
Oh, yeah, I know there are plenty of people who don't have it or they, weren't positive influences. But I'm very happy that I had my dad in my corner because I always knew exactly who I was and was confident. You didn't like it? Oh, well, I don't care. Same way I am now is the same way I was then. I didn't care what people thought about me.
I wish I would have been smarter that way. I mean, I still have those moments. I mean, you always, in what I have, from what I learned myself and from what I've been told, it's something that never goes away. There's always that voice in the back of my head. Sometimes it's like, oh, they're making fun of you. And then there's that other voice like, no, they're not. They're just, they're joking with you.
This is something you have to keep in mind, Chris, okay? Only one person has to see yourself. There's only one person has to see you every day, and that's yourself when you look in the mirror. If you can wake up and look at yourself in the mirror every day and feel good, who cares?
Exactly. And that's why. But I mean, you always have that. It's one of those stupid ticks, but then I have the voice like what you just said. If I'm happy, who gives a crap what everybody else thinks? And that'd be the wise words of Captain Twinkles.
And Zone 4 just got real. But great question, Alan. That was a departure from what we normally do on this show.
Please never ask me any questions about school again, though. Those I'm glad are behind me.
Yeah, but it was good. It was good. And it's cool that, some of us had like similarities and similar experiences and things that we had to face. So,
And 3 of us had really bad fashion.
Yeah.
I didn't. Well, no,
that's
a lie. That's a lie.
I wore parachute pants.
Yeah, no, but my problem was my mom always used to like to give me like the pattern shirts instead of the shirts with pictures. And, that was like a huge thing back in the early 90s. Like the Taz shirts and whatnot, and I was like, I want a Taz shirt. They're like, no, you look so nice and striped.
Brant just admitted to wearing parachute pants.
That's right.
Well, I would have rather worn parachute pants than half the shirts my mom bought for me.
I mean, some of the things that
I would have killed myself. If I could go back, I'd kick myself in the ass. They made fun of my shoes.
Chris,
they made fun of my shoes for years. I went and bought Nikes. I'm like, look, I'm wearing Nikes now. And the first thing they did was they shrugged their shoulders and went, okay, whatever. I'm like,
Nikes are out now.
I know they're out now. They were out in the 90s.
No, I was just making fun of it back then. It's like Feli were really big back then, too.
Yeah.
But, Chris, look at the 80s. There were mullets. There were rat tails. Just hair alone. Like, there was...
You have flock of seagulls.
I was just going to say that. Flock of seagulls there. I mean, like, there was so many bad decisions.
Dude. When I was in elementary school, for some reason, I was a big fan of the Dukes of Hazzard. And I went to school with a plaid shirt, blue jeans, brown light brown cowboy boots, and a Kentucky Wildcats trucker cap. It was not a good look. Just throwing that out.
folks, remember, if you sponsor us at Patreon at the $100 level, we will show off pictures of Brant wearing parachute pants.
Oh god,
I don't know if they exist anymore.
Brant burned those.
You don't even have to sponsor us for more than 1 month. Just send us the 100. We'll do it.
I have a picture somewhere of me at a blue and gold day for our school. It was like a school spirit day where I had the Ultimate Warrior painted on my face. The Ultimate Warrior paint. And it was right after I crashed into a tree, so I had like this big blue chin, this big purple chin. So it's a really great picture.
Well, when I was a kid, my dad made me take Polish language lessons, and with Polish language lessons were Polish folk dancing lessons.
Oh.
So I'd have to go around and dress. I'd be dressed.
I was just going to say, you had to dress accordingly.
Yes, white shirt with a kind of a reddish bow tie, a blue vest, red and white striped pants. I mean, it looked like I was wearing. I looked like a candy cane from the waist down.
I was going to say, were they those shorts that, like, the short ones, like
no.
suspenders?
Luckily, all these photos got destroyed in a flood when I lived in St. Louis. So,
or so Gordon likes to tell people.
Oh, that's hilarious.
See, I'm glad I only had the social problem. If I had the fashion problem...
Yeah, you just have the fashion problem now. That's
No, my fashion problem... I don't have a fashion problem now. My fashion is gorgeous. I have Superman shirts out the wazoo.
Your fashion is green and red tank top.
I seen pictures of Tommy's birthday, Chris. You have a lot of fashion problems.
That was not a good look.
I don't care. I'm very happy.
That was not a good hair day for you.
Excuse you, but I was not going to put a hat on, and I didn't do my hair.
And you didn't put a shirt on either.
It's my house.
Put pants
Let
on,
me tell
Jay.
you. Listen, yeah, that's right. Because you're right. Everybody's lucky every day I put pants on. But I'll tell you this: you don't live in 90-degree weather. My house is 90 degrees 24/7.
I have you there. I do it too. I live in that heat too, so I understand it. But still.
Hey, I didn't know those pictures
Shirt
were
up.
taken. If those pictures were taken, you're damn right there would have been a shirt on.
So you didn't expect pictures at your son's birthday party?
No, I didn't expect pictures at that moment. I was expecting pictures to be taken, but they were taken already before I was told they were being taken. So, well, there goes that.
Beyond that, they were posted on social media.
We need a zone for Captain
Do you know how many people on my friends list take pictures and they look way worse than me without a shirt on, in short shorts, with their hair? You don't want to know?
Just giving you a hard time. We all laid bare our bad fashion choices.
I say we get Chris a custom made Zone 4 Captain Sparkle shirt.
Twinkles! I am Twinkles!
Twinkles
you can be Captain Sparkles.
No, thank you.
I am Magic Pies, and I demand that I am Broom Fondle.
Oh, we got to get the matching shirts now. Mike, Kevin, and Chris.
Michael,
Twinkles, and Huggles.
I'm sorry. Maybe 5-10 years ago, Michael would have done it, like gone all in. Nowadays, Michael will not do anything that even remotely is fun and laughable because he always thinks it's laughed at him. So I'll do it. I would do it, no problem. I'm wearing a kilt, damn it! If you get that stupid tear.
I just saw the Christmas. I saw the Christmas episode on Brooklyn Boys.
Yeah.
Michael danced in it. I don't think he's really.
Let me explain something to you, Jay. That's tradition. Mike won't break tradition, but he won't do anything newer outside of tradition.
Just tell him he used to do it when he was little, so it's tradition.
Yeah, I wish I could tell him that.
There you go.
It was way before you could remember, Michael.
I would wear a Mr. Twinkle. I want to wear a Captain Twinkle shirt. I'm telling you now, with the way Sea of Thieves is going, I'm giving you guys a heads up. The game comes out on a Tuesday. So I'm warning you, Brant, and you, Jay. I'm going to be doing the game the day it's released, but I know Frontline Live is happening. I am going to do an amalgamation of the two. So be aware there will be pirates. What? You could cancel the show if you're that afraid, but I'm telling you now, I'm not canceling a launch party for this game. I've skipped every single other game release because we have Frontline Live and we can only do it on Tuesdays. I'm not skipping this one. I will mash the two together, or I will miss the show, or either way, I'm doing something for CDP.
On release day, Chris?
On release day.
The 20th?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Lord. That's the day before.
Wait, that's February 20th?
I don't care.
March.
Brad, you will wear a pirate hat and you will like it.
That's the day before my birthday, man.
I don't care. You will wear a pirate hat.
It's supposed to be a happy birthday.
It'll be a pirate birthday. Brant will be 4 years old again.
I'm going to send Brant Kraken rum for his birthday, and he will drink it on Frontline Live.
You do know that Brant doesn't drink, right?
Oh, well, for his birthday, he will. A tiny shot glass.
Okay.
Yar!
All right, moving on. Chris has a question. If DC got an exclusive Netflix series deal like Marvel, which series and or group formation would you like to see as a Netflix exclusive?
Young Justice.
Okay.
You took one of my answers.
Well, what's your other answer?
Legion of Superheroes. Gordon took the other one.
Oh, okay. Gordon?
I would do for Netflix, I would do Challengers of the Unknown. And the tag and the high concept pitch is Mad Men meets X-Files.
Okay.
I like the new Challengers of the Unknown proposed one. I don't know when it's coming out or if it's coming out anymore, but it was supposed to be underneath this new flagship of the new DC titles, where they wake up and they have these tattoos on them with the hourglass, and if they have so many hours or whatever to complete their mission that they're put on, or they die. If their hourglass is running out on their tattoos, they die. That sounds like a really interesting concept. So I would love that as a Netflix show.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Young Animals would also be cool. It just hit me. That would be something type of exposure for sure.
It's not really my thing as far as the DC characters go, except for the new series Mystic U, which I'm really enjoying. But I think if they were doing like a series like they're doing the Marvel with each individual character getting their own series kind of thing, I think it'd be interesting to explore the magical side of DC, like even delve into like Swamp Thing and Animal Man too.
I was just gonna say Swamp Thing, Animal Man. That was a very good crossover that happened there. Yes.
Yeah, but also like Zatanna and all those kind of characters. I think it would be interesting.
I would like
Justice League Dark.
Yeah, exactly.
Brant, you just made me think. I would love to see Animal Man, Swamp Thing alone. I loved the Swamp Thing TV series when I was a kid. I used to watch
I did too. Yeah.
I would love to see him come back in a Netflix series. That'd be great. And then you just do Animal Man 2, have the crossover with the red and the green. Boom.
And by the way, the Young Justice thing, I meant as something like Brant was saying. I would want a Robin series, a Superboy series.
Yes.
Series.
I knew exactly what you meant, Jay.
All right, I just wanted to say that for anyone who may have missed my intention there. I would want the core four to have their own series to unite into the Young Justice.
Oh, Bart's would have been the best because you have to have the Flash in that because that's where he was introduced. Superboy would have to have a Superman, and I don't think Cassie per se needed Wonder Woman.
I think he premiered in Young Justice.
Yeah, she did premiere in Young Justice. That's the problem.
He premiered in one.
I think they could do all of them without even having those characters, though. They could just start it in the middle. You don't have to necessarily. They could kind of
Superboy would have to spiral out of. They would have to reference at least the death and return of Superman, but not have Superman. Yeah. Oh not have him. No.
Yeah.
With Bart, I would like them to start with Flash, though. I like that arc, his first appearance, that he was dying and then the Flash had to save him, kind of deal.
All right, so following up on that, what indie comic would you like to see get a Netflix or network?
Birthright!
What? Birthright, you said?
Yes,
What'd you say, Jay?
Invincible.
Oh, okay. Why'd you say that? Now I'm
I mean, because I think it's just an indie title that really needs to get done. God bless you.
Bless you, it's true.
Yeah, no, I agree. They got to do something with it. I don't care if it's an animated movie, a live action movie, a TV series, something. Especially now that it's over.
I don't want it to be over. I want it to start up again.
Just because I say it's such a great anime feel to it, I would say Mechadet get an anime.
Mm.
No offense, but Walking Dead had a more definitive ending feel than Invincible. Invincible
don't spoil it for me. I haven't read it.
No, I know, but
there's
so much more you could have. I'm not going to spoil it. All I'm going to say is Invincible had so much potential. When you read it, you'll understand. And they still have enough potential to go back and go on.
You know, endings are always divisive. Because you're always going to have those people who be like, that was a horrible ending. Look at Lost. A lot of people hated that ending. Then you had a lot of people who were like, it was a good ending.
Oh, I love that ending because if I would have been watching Lost and that would have been the conclusion, I would have been super pissed.
Yeah. All right, Gordon?
I'm going to say Invisible Republic by on Image, which is, for those who don't know, it's a science fiction book. It takes place on a planet with a dystopian government, and they discover the diary of the leader's diary from when he was a young man, and they flash back between this planet now and back then where he was idealistic and hanging out with his cousin. I think that would be a really interesting series for Netflix.
Yeah, no, that would be a good one too. What? This isn't my main answer, but Gordon, you'll remember this because we did an episode of Zone 4 where we reviewed the whole series. There was and I know you weren't crazy about the way it ended. There was a Mark Millar series, like a sci-fi kind of John Carter-ish book.
Oh, you mean Starlight?
Yeah, that's it, Starlight. I think done well, that could be a really interesting series.
Yeah, and it actually, I don't. Did we ever review the ending? Because I don't. Because I checked out. I don't remember reading the last two issues.
Okay.
I did catch it in trade and was really surprised because Millar didn't do what I thought he was going to do, which was basically kill off the lead character.
Yeah. And
have the little sidekick become. Spoiler alert! It's actually much better. And so I think the ending is brilliant. It's probably the one ending where Millar didn't say, "Oh, look at me! I'm going to be super cynical and show up these fanboys who spend their money on my books." Mm-hmm. I really like Starlight. I thought it ended pitch perfect.
Maybe it was John that didn't like the way it ended. I don't remember. Somebody didn't like it. I liked it. I thought it was a really good ending too.
Right.
The other one would be The Sixth Gun, which was supposed to be a TV series. Yeah, and it kind of fell through. I think that would be a fantastic series.
You know, none of us are talking about, and you know what would have been really good? Stephen King's, oh God, I had it, and the gun one.
Dark Tower?
Dark Tower.
That's being made into a movie, isn't it?
It's already been a movie.
Sucked. Yeah. That movie sucked hardcore. No. Hell yeah. My older brother loves Dark Tower. He's read those books cover to cover multiple times. He told me I should read the comic because they adapted it to comics.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. The only problem is Jay Lee does the art. I hate Jay Lee's art.
It's not that bad in it.
No,
I know
it fits it.
It does fit.
Yeah.
It does fit. I looked at the first book. I would love to see that as a series. That would be cool as a series, not a movie, because they really screwed up the movie big time.
I think that kind of story could work better as a series.
And where's Joe Hill's freaking
Lock and Key? Yeah, absolutely. It's supposed to be going to Hulu.
I was just gonna say that's in development somewhere. I know that.
Yeah,
better be because that was a good series too.
Brent, I think you used to read this, or you do read it, because I know it's been a long time since the last issue came out, though. How about Morning Glories?
Oh yeah, Morning Glories would be a fantastic show.
It's been so long since it's been an issue. It would be a really great show. I think it could really work well.
That would. I mean, just the mystery aspects alone, leaving you on that cliffhanger every week, would be just enough to hook you. I think that'd be a fantastic choice. That would be a really good, even if they did the 13 episode seasons on Hulu or something, I think that would be fantastic. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree. That would be a really good one.
All right. Quick question for Chris and I. Most anticipated video games coming out this year. Tevia's are Kingdom Hearts 3, if it actually comes out. God of War.
Yes.
What?
It never will. They keep saying it will, but it never will.
I know. Last of Us Part 2, Bayonetta. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that one. And Detroit Beyond Human are his.
What's the other one? Which one are you trying to pronounce?
Vampire Ni no Kuni or something.
Okay, that's an anime. Never mind. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't look at it. I am looking forward to God of War. I'm getting the Ultimate Collector's Edition of that because I am a huge God of War fan. I just finished playing Sea of Thieves. I was so pleased with the beta. I don't want to spoil it. I will be doing a overview video review of my thoughts, concerns, and enjoyment of the Sea of Thieves beta, hopefully sometime this week. So stay tuned for that. That's a little coming attraction for you right there of news. But Sea of Thieves, I'm really looking forward to now. Spider-Man is another game I'm looking forward to. The Last of Us is 2019, I believe it was moved to. I'm not sure. Okay. I could be wrong. Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm trying to think. There is another game, Far Cry 5. I'm looking forward to coming out. There's a bunch of games coming out that I'm looking forward to, but those are like my top ones.
Okay. Well, Spider-Man was definitely one of mine, and Mega Man 11. I'm actually really looking forward to that. It's going to be on PS4 and Xbox One. I haven't played a Mega Man.
11 games of 10 games of Mega Man?
Yeah.
They made an Ultimate Collection. Yeah. They made 2-part Ultimate Collection of it. I'm waiting for the Mega Man X collection. That's in development here.
I haven't played it since the NES. So, I mean, it's been a long time since I played Mega Man.
Brant, you have a PS4 now. I am very shocked that you did not get the Mega Man collections for $20 on Amazon each.
Yeah, I mean, you know me and my game budget. I'm very selective.
True.
But Mega Man 11, the new one coming out for those platforms, I'm really excited for that one. So, all right. We'll ask this question real quick, and then we'll kind of do a shortened version of the last question, and we'll wrap it up. Tevia, both of these are from Tevia. What are your expectations for the upcoming Batman Ninja anime coming out this year? And do you guys think if this anime is a success, we're going to get more anime on DC characters? Like, for example, I'd like to see them do one with Jonathan Samuel Kent, a.k.a. Superboy, and the rest of the Super Family.
Of course they would. Yeah, of course they would.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to work. I don't know. I mean, either this is... I saw the trailer for it. I forgot how I bumped into it. I don't like the anime format they're going with. They're trying to be anime, but at the same time, they're trying to be computer-generated. But they're also pulling Batman from the present, pulling him into the past. I love Damian's wonderful haircut. We're talking about hair in this episode. I love Damian's interesting haircut in Japan times. I don't know whether to be excited for this or just completely horrified that it's coming out. I'm not going to buy it. I can't. I don't think it's going to be good at all.
I just don't care.
Honestly. I have no urge to take the chance.
Yeah, it's just...
I agree with that. It's just something that's there. I'm not really looking forward to it, but I guess I'll check it out when it comes out, and because I watched them all.
It feels like that this might have been a project, and I hate to disparage anime, because I like the idea of a Batman anime, but the trailers all make it sound like it's this weird time travel that I don't think really would work. Like, if you're going to do Batman in feudal Japan, do Batman in feudal Japan. Yeah. Just don't do time travel. Yeah. It really feels like, because I don't remember this being in any of the news about DC animated movies being made. It really feels like this is we've got this project, we need to get off we need to get it out there because somebody forgot about it. And it's
exactly, and it doesn't right?
I don't mean to. I'm sure it's going to get fans, but it feels like this is. It feels like this was a project that maybe somebody pushed through, but they never quite knew what to do with.
Mm.
Yeah, because it wasn't announced. They literally, I think I just started hearing about it as the release trailers came out. It's like, it's coming out in a month or two. And it's like,
right.
Whoa,
exactly.
okay.
Same here.
where did this come from? Where did you slide under the cracks on the floor?
Yeah.
And as for what you would like to see for other animes out of DC, if this is successful, I think the only property that really works for DC in anime is the original Teen Titans cartoon.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's where I would leave it.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
And I mean, I think they tried it with the Justice League, the New 52 Justice League, because you notice the mouths kind of flap a little bit at times. They did. No, believe it or not, they did. You could see it sometimes. See,
the art is very anime-ish. They do go for a little bit more art for the anime style with it. But for me, I just think the only thing that fits is Teen Titans.
I think Suicide Squad could do a decent anime.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yes, I could see that.
I just don't think they would want to touch that after the controversy, you know?
Yeah.
The Suicide controversy on YouTube, they're not touching that. Suicide Squad in Japan,
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I'm just saying as a concept.
I can see that as a concept because it does have a very anime
or Deathstroke.
feel.
Deathstroke would be another one that I could see anime-esque.
That would fit.
Yeah, because he does have a ninja-type motif to his costume and all that. And he has a blade, so I can see them working that into an anime feel.
Or, you could do... Actually, I mentioned Mystic U earlier. That would be something you could do as an anime.
That would work.
And all of us are forgetting one very important Chinese character that was introduced.
Oh, New Superman.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And that would fit perfect.
And since you're talking about Japanese, how about Katana?
Katana would be another one. We're just pulling them out now, guys.
I know. I'm telling you. All right, so last question. I'm going to truncate this one because he asked for our 10 best, worst games, movies, and comics from 2017.
Yeah, he did that before. I'm sorry.
Yeah. There's no way we can sit here and list all that. So I'm going to say let's just think of some of our favorite things of any type of medium from 2017 and just kind of spit it out there. Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be your absolute favorite. Just pick something that you really enjoyed in 2017. So, and you can go first if you want, Jay.
All right. So, let me see. Comic book again. I'm going to say Power Rangers and Mech Cadet U. Those are great. TV. The DC TV, I still like it. I know a lot of people are falling off of it, but I still like it. Let's see. Movies, definitely not Justice League. But I don't know for a movie right now. But game, I will say there's one game that I kind of pay attention to, and that's an RPG game. It's Power Rangers Hyperforce. That's pretty good for me. So,
cool. Gordon?
I have to say the one thing I really enjoyed in 2017 was the Crisis on Earth X crossover with all the CW shows.
Yes, that was good.
Cool. And is that it? Anything else?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, cool. For me, real quick, let's see. Game Fortnite, obviously, because I've been playing like crazy. Let's see. Comics. What is the name of that one? It changed names recently. Jay, the Boom one, the miniseries.
Hard Vinyl, and it used to be called
something Fight Club.
Hi-Fi Fight Club.
Hi-Fi Fight Club. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name. I really enjoyed that series. I thought that one was a lot of fun. And TV-wise, Good Place. I think that's a fantastic sitcom.
Yeah, that's
probably that one and Superstore are probably my two favorite sitcoms right now. So, movie, I don't know. I didn't see a whole lot of movies last year. I don't think. If I did, I don't remember. I did watch
Spider-Man?
last. Oh yeah, Spider-Man: Homecoming. There you go. That's the perfect one.
I was about to say Grant.
Yeah, I watched Westworld last year, and that was really good. So I can't wait for that to come back. So there you go, Chris.
Movies, I only watched 3 that really, those are the ones I was looking forward to. Old Man Logan, Captain America Civil War, and Spider-Man Homecoming, which Mr. Fowler forgot about. TV, I'm going to change to Netflix, and that's The Defenders. I enjoyed that. And Iron Fist. I enjoyed both of those. Comics, Superman. Superman's just been on spot, and Hal Jordan slowly got better. And video games, definitely Fortnite. Before Battle Royale, I enjoyed Fortnite. You had Ghost Recon and The Division. The Division has been just proving through the course of time it's still going strong. I'll say Friday the 13th because I played a lot of it, but man, you love to hate that game, really, truthfully and honestly. And that's the long and short list of it all, I guess.
Cool. And that's all our questions then.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just throw this out there. Prey as a game was a really good one from last year.
Okay, cool. And thank you to Matt, Tevia, Alan, Kat, and of course Chris Gordon and myself for all the questions for this special Ask Me Anything kind of episode of Zone 4. We appreciate it. And if you guys enjoyed this kind of show and this kind of format, let us know, and we'll do it from time to time.
With different questions.
Yeah, with different questions. Absolutely. All right. So that means it's time for what's coming out, and going on. So we will start with Gordon.
Okay, well, I'm going to have a very busy month in the coming months because between April 1st and May 7th, I will be putting on 4 panels. On April 6th, I will be at C2E2. I'll be running a Doctor Who panel called She's the Doctor Now, regenerating a Time Lord and a science fiction TV franchise. That will be at 11:15 on April 6th in room S403. That evening at 5:15, I'll be running the C2E2 Doctor Who meetup. Then on April 28th, I will be doing 2 panels at DePaul's Celebration of Pop Culture. It's DePaul's Pop Culture Conference, a celebration of slashers. Talking all about horror movies. So I'll be putting on a panel about John Carpenter and about how shows like Kolchak the Night Stalker, Dark Shadows, and Doctor Who killed gothic horror in popular culture. Yes, Jim Beard, I said that. Come at me, bro. And then on May 5th, I'll be putting on the Timey-Wimey Guide to Doctor Who at Oak Park Public Library's Fan Fest, which is also Free Comic Book Day. So if you're in the Oak Lawn area, not Oak Park, Oak Lawn. So if you're in the Oak Lawn area on Free Comic Book Day, stop by 95th and Richfield, hang out with me, get some free stuff. And so, yeah, 4 panels, 1 month. Yes, I'm going to do it.
Nice. Awesome.
Please record the John Carpenter one and post it online so I can see that argument. I'm going to enjoy that one.
Nice.
You know what? I'll talk to the organizer Paul Booth, because I know they'll probably. I know they've recorded in the past. They've recorded panels in the past, so it's no big hit. No, I'll see what I can do.
Oh, sweet.
Thank you. I want to see that one.
No promises, though. No promises.
Yes. Okay. If it happens, we'll share it all over Zone 4 social media, of course. All right, Jay.
Usual stuff for me. Right now, I'm reviewing each episode of Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel on Comic Frontline on Saturday nights. Let's see, because by the time this comes out, I will have Talking Trek 3 up, where we're talking the full season of Star Trek Discovery. And I'm going to be doing written reviews of Kaito Sentai Lupin Ranger versus Kiyatsu Sentai Pattern Ranger on Frontline.com. So check that out. Also check out the MarvelReport.com and my social media, which is Comic Book Theater minus the R at the end on Twitter.
Cool. Chris?
Well, like I said, I'll be doing a Sea of Thieves closed beta overview with my thoughts, concerns, and everything that should be on my channel already by the time this goes up. I will be doing a written one for the second closed beta, and then I'll be doing a full one when the full game comes out, but that's going deep into the future. You guys already know about March 20th now. That remains to be seen what we're going to be doing. But for the near future, a lot of the same. The Dark Avenger podcast should be going up at the same time that this would be going up post our recording a week from now. The rest is pretty much the same. Keep an eye on Twitch, guys. I've been streaming at least once a day. I'm sure Brant and I might get together and do some Fortnite tonight. Making all jokes aside, we'll probably have some fun on that. I just actually updated Frontline Gaming Zone, so all the previous streams are there. So if you'd like to see me throw a boogie bomb at Brant and make him dance for 5 seconds, you're welcome to go over there and check that out. Speaking of, Frontline Gaming Zone has all the previous streams on there. Definitely go check that out. Comic Frontline wise, I am working on a few written things that will be popping up between this episode and the next Zone 4. And also don't forget the Dark Avenger comic book reviews every Monday, and I post that on the .com as well. And that's about it. And I'm going to try to get Brant to dress up as a pirate now on March 20th to celebrate the opening of Sea of Thieves. Make it a pirate-centric Frontline Live maybe even.
Go ahead, Brant. Go ahead.
I was going to say you might get an eye patch out of it. No pirate.
That's fine. I could listen. An eye patch is an eye patch. You can put a bandana on your head. You can put a shirt on your head for all I care. It'll look like a bandana. It's something.
Go ahead, Jay.
No, just forgot. By the time this comes up, you can check out our Frontline Live Awards for 2017.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll be taping it. We'll be doing it live this Tuesday. So by the time it comes out, yeah.
Okay. All right. And for me, let's see. Personally, Monday Musings on my channel. You can check out my social media at Brant Fowler. And let's see. For Comic Frontline, on Mondays we do a new segment on comicfrontline.com called Top 5 Panels. So we pick out our favorite panels of the week, and we have you guys vote on which one will be the winner. So go check that out on the .com. And as for Zone 4, and then I'll go back to my stuff, but as for Zone 4, in April, we are returning to a weekly schedule. So,
woo!
Yeah, that is our anniversary month. We will be 9 years old in April, so to celebrate that, we're going back to a weekly schedule. So
Brant will be 9, Jay and I both will be 1.
So Zone 4 will once again be your weekly Friday night treat. So I'm not going to say Friday Night Delight, but I guess I just did.
I like Friday Night Delight, you jerk.
So you have that to look forward to. More Zone 4, and I'm going to be revamping the Patreon page and the website and all kinds of stuff in the weeks to come. Back to me, Pneumatic Cases Kickstarter going on right now. John Wilson, former co-host of Zone 4, writes that book. We are 107% funded right now. We are over $1,600, and we still have about, as you're hearing this, depending on whether you're listening on Patreon or on or when it's live publicly, there's either like 11 days or 7 days. So either way, you have time to go check it out. So check out Pneumatic Cases on Kickstarter and support it if you can, if you like what you see. And that's it for me, and that's it for the show. So Jay is going to take us out.
Okay, Jay just got to get that back up.
Sorry.
I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I didn't look at who was reading us out. So I'm glad that it's Jay.
I started to put Chris, and I was like, Jay's not going to, Chris is not going to have it open.
No, you didn't. Liar.
We'd like to thank the official bands of Zone 4, the Ray Waller Band and Society's Plague, that you hear on the show each episode. We are also proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. You can find us on comicspodcast.com, Comic Frontline, Stitcher, iTunes, and of course, Zone4Podcast.com. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, like the t-shirt for Chris with Captain Twinkles on it, send us those.
I'm making it! Don't even send the suggestion. I will make it. It will be on the Frontline freaking shop as soon as Brent and I sit down and figure out what we're going to do with that.
Send those to Zone4Podcast at gmail.com. And as always, thanks for listening. You are now leaving Zone 4.
Bye, everybody.
it.
Mutiny!
Captain.
Mutiny! Mutiny!
This is only a test for the X-Men.
This has been a Gonzo Goose production.